Welcome to the mental edge.
We'll get into that one day
awesome.
too, right? I'm a blessed man. I got a hot wife. She works hard.
Yeah. I saw the video.
Yeah. You know, I mean, life is good, right? So anyway, so I go to Menards and I come out of Menards.
Okay.
Okay. And as I'm coming out of Menards, I don't know, something about a hardware store make a man feel like a man. You know what I'm talking about, fellas?
That's right.
Right? Make a man feel like a man.
Right.
Anyway, I go in, I come out with, I can't even remember what I purchased. But as I'm walking a little faster than the people who were originally in front of me, so I pass by them.
Okay.
As I pass by them, I noticed it's a slightly older woman with a middle-aged man. I'm going to say anywhere from 42 to 48 years old.
Okay. So, son, maybe.
Don't know. And like I said, Junior, I made a little video because I like to make videos. Or guys, write down your ideas.
Right.
Use your notes. Junior uses notes a lot. Junior sends me notes a lot.
Yeah.
Or record yourself talking about something if you want to generate content. You can go back later. But I knew today, I'm like, man, me and Junior, we haven't really talked about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about this.
Got it.
Because I'm going to tell you something. My blood boiled, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
When I passed this lady and this man, his demeanor was meek.
Yeah.
Okay? I hear her talking to him. This is what she says. She tells him what's going to happen.
All right.
I don't know if it's his mom. I don't know if it's his aunt. I don't know if it's... You can't tell anymore.
Right.
Two dudes could be walking. They could be in love. I don't know what's going on in the world. Anyway, it's fine. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the relational situation,
Got it.
the situationship is, right? She says, you're going to weed whack, and then you're going to cut the grass, and that's what we're going to do. And he says... So then, you know, and then I'm thinking the conversation's over. My right ear... I'm not eavesdropping.
They were
I'm just
if
paying
they were
attention.
talking loud enough for you to hear them.
In a parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm walking by him.
Yeah. All right.
And then she says, did you hear what I said? He says, like, yeah, you said we're going to weed back and then we're going to cut the grass. She says, really? Because the last time I told you what we were going to do, you cut the grass and then you weed whacked.
Because the last time I told you what we were going to do, you cut the grass and then you weed whacked.
Now, I want you to know, I didn't even make it to my car, and my eyeballs started rolling in the back of my handsome little head.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's matchup features 79-year-old Greta, whose specialty is verbal abuse, and her opponent, a middle-aged man who ain't gonna do a damn thing about it. Here we go.
Oh man.
So then I got in my car, and I had to actually back up. The orientation of the parking lot is I was going to have to pass by them. So then I get what I would call the after the moment vibe. I get a feel. Now, I'm about ready to roll down my window and tell Greta where she can go. But I looked at this guy, and he basically just took it. And then he goes on to doing the hard work, right? Like he's serving her. I can tell he's serving her. He takes the whatever they bought, and almost looked like a case of Gatorade. We're at Menards. You can buy anything at Menards.
Yeah.
He puts it in the back. There's no rebuttal from him. He just takes it. And it brought me back to a certain time. But I want to know, Junior, like before I keep running my mouth,
Right.
I pretty much told that story verbatim.
Right.
Exactly the way it lay. I mean, I'm right back in it right now.
Right.
What do you think about somebody who does that talking and somebody who receives that talking?
Man, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
There'd probably be an uncomfortable pause here as I kind of navigate this conversation through my...
I'm going to drink my delicious Keurig coffee.
Yeah.
A little Jeopardy music.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind is sometimes, fellas, we give up something that's instinctually masculine and male and us, right? If it was a relationship, okay, we're just gonna say they're husband and wife, right?
Let's just say let's
Okay.
just we're gonna actually probably explore those in this conversation.
and or
who they might be.
and or if it so we're just if it's a husband and wife, right?
I'm gonna
I
keep
would
talking.
say
Make a
that
I gotta make a note. of this.
I would say that, you know, he gave up a status that, you know, that I would call dominion. A status that I would call dominion. Okay?
This is getting good already.
I would, right?
Oh my gosh.
So if okay, this is an example, right? So we're Jesus guys, right? So who has dominion over us?
The Lord.
Right? And we have dominion over
All the land, the animals, the pork, whatever you
Right.
want to eat, fellas.
yeah,
the
anything
world.
right. So with that said, we don't have dominion over our wife, but there is a headship, a leadership, right?
Yeah.
And in that
good.
leadership, right? In a
Hierarchy, right?
Yeah, a hierarchy,
Yes.
right? Spiritually, right? So
Yes.
if you're a man that's like what in the way that I'm thinking, right? Then I'm saying that, you know, there was a lack of respect. There was a lack of respect.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. There
Okay.
is.
Yeah, there was a lack of respect, and then if you're the wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Males view respect as love, for the most part,
For the most part. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you respect, look, if I
Yeah,
respect
that is our
you-
love, right? That is
Yeah,
our love.
yeah.
Yes.
If
Oh,
I
that's-
respect
that's
you,
beautiful,
right?
Junior.
Okay, so those are the two ways I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now we can dive a little deeper but I
Yeah.
just I wanna go where you're going. Tell me your initial. Don't think about what I just said. Tell me what your initial.
So
what
this
was
is
going
so
on.
what happened was when I got back in my car and I left Menards. Now, guys, I'm gonna live by 8 minutes from Menards.
Okay.
I got transported to a time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got transported back to Lake Station Little League.
Okay.
Which, guys, I was not in. This was me going back there as an adult. I remember one day I go back there to watch somebody. I don't remember if it was my brother. I just remember the dynamic was that my mom was adult. I was already away from the home.
Okay.
And I was coming back to Lake Station Little League
You're
to
a young
watch
man,
someone.
right?
Yeah. And I don't think they were still giving away a free bag of popcorn for every foul ball. So we had moved beyond that. It wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago, guys, but it's been closed for a minute. But I was transported back to a conversation that I had with my mother, and I'm going to tell you why this moment related to the conversation that I had with my mom. My mom's an incredible woman, but and she passed away. People loved her so much. She transformed her life. But there was a time when she was deeply dependent upon the financial supplementation of my grandmother.
Okay.
You get where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
You vibing me? So I remember at one point she tried to tell me during this Little League game, she's like, you don't understand, Mama's being hard on me, and you know, she's holding these things over my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it was in my life. At the time, I felt like, you know, sometimes, guys, you have to talk to people you love. You have to be you have to give them the truth.
Yeah.
Now, the Holy Spirit and Jesus, they give you the truth a little better than the average human does, right? Because
sure.
we got all
Yeah.
kinds of baggage. But I remember telling this to my mom.
Yeah.
Well, the reason you have a problem with Mama is because you're still on her nipple.
Not the classiest way to make my point.
Because you're a butthole.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
And now that I can't tell you.
yeah.
And that made my mother so angry. And it was so, I want you to know that I regretted the way I delivered that.
Gotcha.
I did not like the way I delivered that. I had to have this conversation at one point with Missy and Tyrus.
Okay.
Later on. I mean, he's incredible, right? Are you
Right,
kidding
right,
me?
right.
He's like, he sets the bar super high. But
Right.
But my point is, I had this as I drove home. I was like, the only situation that I can think supports this dynamic, a younger, capable male of receiving this type of a talking to, because she talked to him like he was the child that disappointed her,
Gotcha.
and he was 11 or
All
14.
right. So this is more a mom-son relationship.
Almost.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right,
Like,
but okay, let's go that route. Go ahead.
yeah. So my point was the only reason he's probably being talked like that is because there is still a grown man dependency upon that woman. It didn't seem like love and that she has
Right.
Tourette's and he's still hanging around. She has Alzheimer's.
Right.
Those people sometimes.
Yeah.
It seemed like she had power over him.
Grown man dependency. Dive a little deeper for me.
So we can be in situations sometimes, Junior.
Yeah.
We can have these seasons in our life where we have to go back home. No shame, guys.
Yeah.
Listen, if my children come back to my house right now, and I already know they're trying, they're going to get a kiss on the neck.
Right.
I'm going to make their plate for them. It's going to be like the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Right. But if they're 8 years later, there may be some sarcastic remarks in the Menards parking lot.
Right. Okay. I see what you're talking
You
about.
get
All
it?
right.
So I think in that dynamic, the vibe I got was he has no choice but to take her abuse, which is deeply rooted in her expression of disappointment in him as a man.
Yeah.
And I thought, bruh, that's on you.
Right. How would you have handled that a little differently if you were him?
So I'm not going to be him.
But
So here's
Yeah.
the deal, guys. Have I been him? Yeah.
Okay.
My grandma used to give me $5 gas money. I worked in the mill. She'd give me free. I was stupid with money.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
Jesus, please, guys. Don't think I think we're superior. All I'm telling you is, you know what? The person you help the most is the person you once were.
Yeah.
Now, no woman in my life ever talked to me like that. Maybe a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. She gonna be gone in about 48 minutes.
Got it.
Maybe not coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But no one that I love, depend on, or support, or care about, and in a relationship with is going to talk to me like that.
No.
I've given my wife the green light that when I'm being a prick to tell me, Jay, you're doing it right now.
Right.
Right? And I tell her,
Yeah.
like, hey, guys, we grown.
Yeah. Yeah.
We grown, right?
Right.
I'm a man.
Yeah. So on the behalf of the son right now, what is he lacking in his life? Right?
All right, so we can only guess.
Yeah. This
Fella,
is-
what do you think? Like, Junior, what do you think? What is missing that allows him to receive that abuse without a rebuttal?
One thing is he's definitely missing respect for himself. Respect for himself.
He doesn't respect himself.
Just himself, right? So he doesn't respect himself. And if you don't respect yourself, how could you, expect others to respect you?
He's almost in agreement with what she says. He enforces it by allowing it.
Yeah. So give me an example of how he can change that.
Well, okay, guys, I'm just going to touch on a little thing
Yeah. Go ahead.
that was in the manuscript.
Right.
In the manuscript, we talked about sometimes as a man, you'll be in the mode of serving so much, people almost tell you what needs to be done because they're just going to do it, right? You're like a robot. But at some point, you almost live a life that you do that so much, you start to degrade.
Yeah.
So what we suggested in the book was, for example, your wife pulls in your driveway and you're on your 1987 Predator.
Yep.
And you're about to jump the ramp.
Right.
Okay? And she's like, well, people are coming over. Aren't you going to wash the dishes?
Right.
You look her in her face and say, right after I get done jumping the ramp.
Exactly. So, fellas, the example
And
here
we'll talk
is-
about that in a minute. Yeah, why? That's okay.
Yeah.
But
The example is, you have to be a man of your word, right? So this guy your word is bond.
dude,
right?
you are nailing it.
Your word is bond. So if she's disappointed somewhere along the line, the ramification, the repercussion, whatever you want to call it,
Dude.
the opposition that he's up against is she's not happy with him for whatever reason because he probably said, hey, Mom, I'm going to do this, and didn't come through.
And
or
this is what
Or it could be
Junior-
a husband, right?
There you
Hey,
go.
wife, I'm gonna do this, and then didn't do it. So disappointment sets in. Disappointment. What do you know when she's like, man, this guy doesn't. He's living something, or he's saying that he's gonna do this, but he's doing that. He says he's gonna, throw the trash out, but he doesn't. But like you said in the manuscript, right?
Yeah.
That if you say you're gonna cook, or whatever you're gonna do, or you're gonna throw out the garbage, or whatever it is that you're gonna do, you have to be a man of your word. You have to be a man of integrity. You can't be one way in the house or outside the house. Example. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Imagine that guy that you just talked about a little while ago. He's doing for everyone. Mm-hmm. But then he comes home and he lays on the couch and doesn't do for any of his family. He doesn't do for his wife. He doesn't. Man. Fellas, work is a job, right?
Yes.
So job is job. Work happens when you come home.
That's right.
When you come home, that's when the real work happens. When you come home, that's when it all goes down. When you come home and your kids are like, well, daddy doesn't spend no time with me. Well, guess what? When you come home and you get inside the house, you jump on them kids. You beat them up a little bit if they're boys.
Rough them up.
If it's a girl, you teach her how to jab, how to hit somebody in the nuts, right?
Right. Yeah.
all that cool stuff, right? Yeah. And then if it's your wife, you reach around, grab her butt, squeeze her nice tight to you, give her a big smooch.
That's disgusting, but I like it, and I won't tell you.
Your son's going to be like, ooh, dad just stuck his tongue in mom's mouth.
Oh.
So what?
Yeah.
That's love, right?
Yeah.
That's passion. Yeah. That's, and then you go, honey-do list, whatever that looks like at your house, right?
Yeah.
You start cleaning up, you help. That's where the real work happens. And check this out. My dad, when I was younger, I remember he used to work at a factory, and it hurt his back. He hurt his back at the factory. He would come home, and it was back-breaking labor, right?
Yeah,
He's hurting. And I just remember he would come home, and he'd lay on the floor, and you could just see him, like, stretch. He's stretching his back, right? And he'd give me the look. I already knew what the look meant. Mm-hmm. The look meant, while he's laying down, I'd go walk on his back.
Yeah.
Right.
Crunch, crack,
and I'm
pop.
really, I'm trying to really I'm having fun because I'm trying to balance. But my dad was really enjoying it because he was breaking his back for us.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He was. I love that.
Yeah. And you know what happened though? At that moment, I realized one day when he was laying on the floor stretching, I said, man, that's my dad. And he's working hard for us. Yeah. And when he comes home, there was no shortage of him working hard because he would do all kinds of electrical stuff, plumbing, everything that you're doing with your wife. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. You guys late. What'd you do this week?
I laid some pipe. No, I did that afterward. But laying landscaping block. Patio.
Patio block. And then you came here. You're working on the plumbing here. You got a lot of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. And you're a man that says, hey, when I get home, I'm going to do it. Yeah. If you say you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah. So that's why I love everything that Junior said. So in that story about jumping the ramp, Junior, it's not just you look at your wife and you say, well, I'm going to jump this ramp and then I'm going to wash the dishes. The most important element is that you go wash the dishes. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you teach the people that love you that they won't have animosity towards the things you love because you keep your promises. Yeah. So, but the key is like what this guy needs to do is he needs to tell his mom or whatever she is in his life, that he's going to do something and then he's going to mow the grass. But the most important thing, guys, is not even that he goes and mows the grass. It's that he does that thing for himself first. Yeah. So he does that thing for himself first for him. You don't tell your wife, okay, babe, I'll go wash the dishes and then I'll jump this ramp. You enjoy the moment. You jump the ramp and then you keep the promise. Because if not, you basically teach her that she can snap her fingers and make you go do the task. Your mind is warped. Yeah. You think that doing things in the immediate moment that people need is what you're supposed to do. It's not always what you're supposed to do. Dude. Right? Yeah, go ahead. Put the fire out.
Another thing just downloaded into my spirit. It came from TSO.
Oh yeah.
Verdell Gray.
I know what's coming. I'm gonna.
Your no is powerful.
Your no defies your worth sometimes.
Yes, your no defies your worth.
Defines it. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, guys, listen. You're not saying no to the wife because you want to jump the ramp. You're just saying, hey, I was doing something. I'm gonna finish what I was doing, just like you know what I'm saying. And once I'm finished with it, yeah, I'm gonna do it in a timely. It'll be a timely manner. It's gonna be like the dishes ain't going nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. You know. Now, if it's timed, like you have people coming over, then go jump that ramp, do what you got to do, and then run inside. You know, you time it, right?
Right.
Now, sometimes your wife will be perturbed. So you got to learn when to fight your battles because sometimes, you know, it's like if you really aren't doing anything, right, and you're just scrolling on Facebook or whatever.
I agree.
Yeah, then she's probably going to be like, she walked past you 20 times, and as long as she's not, you know, guessing that you're on Facebook, I get it. But, you know, if she's walking by and you're, you know, on the kitchen table and she can walk behind and she sees you just, you know, scrolling up and down Facebook for 30 minutes after she asks you to do something, then, you know, you should probably just get up and go do it out of the sheer fact that, you know, there's better things that you could be doing.
Sure.
And helping her out is one of them.
And I want you guys to know this. I want you guys to know this. We don't know what that dynamic was.
No,
right?
we don't.
That dynamic, that guy could have something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Right? He could have a social problem where he's not able to do those things. Yeah. And then that feeds back into that caregiver, whether it was mom, his aunt, whatever, who he's staying with. And there's some insecurity about that. And the way it's manifested in her is she's become an absolute ass to him.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's a victim and there's not much he can do.
No.
Right? There isn't. In my mom's story,
right.
My mom got off that nipple. My mom did all these incredible freaking things to where she wasn't a burden on my grandmother's life. She was a blessing.
That's awesome.
Right?
How beautiful is that?
My thing was, Junior, I wanted to I wanted to talk to these men tonight a little bit and just say, guys, like, if you're in that situation, have you thought about it? Because another thing is, let's say you're that guy, and I'd love for this to be this. I mean, you got some things I want to make this a little bit shorter.
I'm good. You're good.
How long? Okay, let's just say for shiznits and giggles, right? That he begins to do the right thing, right? Yeah. He begins to demonstrate. Maybe he has screwed up. Maybe he's been in jail 17 times, guys. I don't care. The Lord will make it right. He'll make it right.
Yeah.
But you got to press in. How long until Isabella, or whatever her name was, right? Greta. How long until can a man hang around and wait for Greta to start showing some respect? Like, guys, if you've been screwing up for 17 years, and you're acting right for 17 minutes, it ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, I'm a proponent. I'm a big proponent. I'm a huge proponent of this. If it took you 5 years to get to where you're at, it's not going to take you 5 days to get out. It's
Amen.
Going to take a long.
Boom.
It takes. Yeah, I say this all the time.
Mic drop.
Yeah. I say this all the time because a lot of times we think that, you know, like you said, you know, you're abusing something for so long, abusing yourself, right? So you know, you're overweight, you're not watching what you're eating, 20 years, right? And then you work out for 2 weeks, and you're like, I don't see any results.
Yeah, something's wrong with the scales, bro.
Well, no, nothing's wrong with the scale, and nothing's wrong with you except that you're in denial. You're gonna have to realize that, you know, hey, that's the first step. We hear that all the time, right?
It is the first step.
So, but yeah, you're in denial, and you're gonna have to watch what you eat for a lot longer than, you know. And it's a long game, right? We got to play the long game, fellas. It's not about
it's the long game.
Yeah, it's not the, you know.
The long game is the strong game.
It is. And sometimes we always fall prey to wanting the get fit quick pill.
Yeah, right.
You know,
or get out of debt quick pill, right? Yeah, just think about it. Yeah, that makes us victims, right?
Yeah, all those things that try to happen really fast, but nothing good happens fast. Like
No.
Thanksgiving dinner cooked in a microwave is not the same thing as Thanksgiving dinner cooked over the period of that entire, like the night
That
prep
whole-
the
yeah,
night
yeah,
before, the
right.
whole morning, until that dinner comes. So that's kind of how life is.
Yeah, I just want to say this one final thing.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
And this is important because, we just honored a bunch of women,
Yeah.
Which we love to do. We
Yeah.
love to do. Like, we had such amazing women on the show. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I want you to know that only a woman could talk to a man like that and get away with it.
True.
This is real talk, ladies, right
Right.
now. The things that you can say to a man and there's nothing he can do about it, it's ridiculous that you can do that to him. If you're talking to a man that you say you love like that,
Yeah.
and you're making him feel like that, I want you to know, if that was another man, it would be a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Yeah, you get punched in the mouth.
Would a son wouldn't put up with his dad talking to him like that? So only so long.
Yeah.
There would be a moment where he challenges that. The only thing that young man could do, if he's totally healthy and nothing's wrong with him, is he has to walk away from that problem with that woman. So I want you to understand this, ladies. If you're treating a man like that and he walks away from you, it's the only thing he can do.
Yeah. The power of life and death is in the tongue, ladies and gentlemen, right? The power of life and death is in the tongue. So speak life to your partner. Speak life to the person that you say you love.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be super important,
It's super
especially in the long game, right?
Yeah. Fellas, don't put up with it. Get off the nipple. That's all we got to say.
That's right. I'm Fernando Lopez Jr.
I'm Jay Casey.
This is the Mental Edge Podcast.
And we out.
Sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Edge Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share. Until next week, we out.